the Opelka Studios in Oklahoma City, this is OSU Football. I'm Jenny Carlson with Brandon Chatmon. Brandon, spring football is here. Cowboys have already done a little bit of practicing, but now they really get into the heart of things. One of the big storylines coming into the spring is the relationship between returning quarterback Brandon Weeden and the new offensive coordinator. What have you perceived right now between Todd Monken and Mr. Weeden?
Seems like they have a really good relationship. It seems like Weeden heading into the spring was kind of teaching him a little bit about the offense, just kind of telling him what Dana Holgorsen, who's now at West Virginia, had been teaching him the previous year. So they seem to have a really good relationship. It's almost like a peer type situation. It's not necessarily, doesn't seem necessarily as much like a coach and a player situation where normally the player just listens to everything the coach says. Seems like they have a really good back and forth, really good relationship.
Obviously a lot changing with a new offensive coordinator, or they're going to at least have to have some time of adjustment. But when you talk about returners, there's not a lot of positions that you look at and go, wow, I'm interested to see what happens here. Are there some, though, that you're interested to watch as the spring goes on to see how much things change?
Yeah, I'd like to see the running back position. Obviously, you lose Kendall Hunter, a guy who's going into the NFL. You're trying to replace him with Joseph Randall and Jeremy Smith. So it'll be interesting to see those two guys. That's going to be a battle to see who ends up being the number one guy at the position. Obviously, both guys are going to play a big role in the offense. Both guys are going to get a lot of touches. But you kind of want to see which guy is going to be the guy in there when they really need to make a play.
What about on the defensive side of the ball? A lot of guys coming back, but yet at the same time, you lose guys like Ori Lemon on the defensive side, Shane Jarka on the defensive side. How much of a transition year is this for the defense?
I'd say it's a pretty big transition year. If you look at the defense, they probably feel really good about their back seven, their linebackers, their safeties, their corners. They feel pretty good about those guys because they're athletic and fast, but up front is where the big question mark comes in, especially your defensive interior. On the ends, you have Jamie Blatnick and Rashedi Jones. Both of those guys have played quite a bit, so you have some experience at your ends, but at defensive tackle, you don't have a lot of experience there. Only Nigel Nicholas is a guy who's been playing significant minutes in the past, so you definitely need somebody in the spring to step up in the defensive interior for the Cowboys.
By the way, the weather's been great for spring ball so far, but sometimes it's not so great in the spring. What's the latest on the indoor practice facility? Any movement on that in Stillwater?
Yeah, there's been a little bit of movement. They're about to get ready to set out for some bids and try to get things going as far as raising the money and make sure they can start construction maybe late May, somewhere around that time. And they also have a model of what they're planning to do with the indoor facility. They've made some changes. Not going to be quite as big as it was before. Still a pretty nice facility. It'll be a situation where it's right next to the practice fields. It'll be a situation where it's a place where the players can go when it's raining, when it's icy, just things like that. It's not going to be the Taj Mahal, if you will, of indoor facilities like the previous plan was, but it's still a really nice facility.
They have the Taj Mahal of everything else at OSU. Maybe this is okay. All right, thanks, Brandon. And stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.